Hello class, it's me again, Professor Streeter, your ethics professor, and I am going to talk to you about the books that I've ordered for this class. There are two of them. They look like this, and they look very similar, but they're different books. This one over here, called The Fundamentals of Ethics, is written by Russ Shafer Landau. He's the author, and it's a sort of an attempt on the part of Russ Shafer Landau to give you an overview of some of the major themes in ethical philosophy. He also discusses many of the readings in The Ethical Life. Now, The Ethical Life is not written by Russ Shafer Landau. It has his name on it, but it's called an anthology. It's a collection of readings by other writers. So you can see the subtitle, Fundamental Readings in Ethics and Moral Problems. Those readings are not written by Russ Shafer Landau. He just edited it. He put them together and got the copyright permission from Oxford University Press to put all of these readings from other books into one collection. Handy dandy. So if you notice, so what I'd like you to do when you get your books, first thing is look at the table of contents. For example, the table of contents for The Ethical Life. It begins with a section called The Good Life. That's the first part of the book. It's the first major theme of the readings in this anthology. And it's this topic that we'll start with. It's the question that we'll begin with. What is the good life? What is the good that we're seeking in life? Is there a highest good? And how do the various goods that we seek in life relate to each other? What happens when there's a conflict between the things that we value? What is of the highest value? How do we seek it? How do we value it? And how do we define it, or how do we identify it? How do we know that we're seeking the good in life? And what is it? Okay, that's the big question that we're going to begin with. What do we really care about? What do we value? What makes life good? And as you can see, there's a number of readings here. One by a guy named John Stuart Mill. That's the first reading. Chapter 1 is a separate reading with an author named John Stuart Mill. And the title of this piece is called Hedonism. And we're going to start by thinking about hedonism. The second chapter is a short essay by a different author named Robert Nozick called The Experience Machine. So each chapter has a reading by a different author with a separate title, okay? And the book is divided up into parts. So the first part is the good life. The second part, once we've thought about value and what kinds of things we care about and why we value them, we'll move to part 2, normative ethics, theories of right conduct. Well, actually, I'm not sure that's the order we're going to go, but we are going to read that chapter, and that part of the book. And we'll think about the difference between right action and wrong action, and how different philosophers have defined the difference between right and wrong. Okay, but again, the point I'm making here is each chapter, so chapter 6 there, Plato, he's an ancient Greek philosopher, and he wrote a bunch of dialogues. One of them is called Euthyphro. That's the first chapter, chapter 6, in part 2 of this anthology, The Ethical Life. So again, each chapter is a different author with a different reading, raising questions in about ethical issues, right? The first part focuses on the good life, and the second part focuses on what's called normative ethics, or theories of right conduct. Okay, and then it goes through part 3, looks at the status of morality, what's called meta-ethics, and again, many different readings by different authors. And then finally, part 4 looks at what's called moral problems. Okay, part 4, moral problems. Different kind of concrete issues that come up once we think about different ethical theories. So questions about poverty and hunger, guns, the legacy of racism. Okay, so again, all different authors. So this is one of the 2 books I've ordered for you, The Ethical Life, and I'm having trouble getting it in the screen. And it's an anthology of readings in ethics and moral problems, edited by Russ Shafer Landau. I've ordered you the 5th edition. It has some new readings that that we'll be looking at together. So I encourage you to get this one from the bookstore, because they have the 5th edition. If you're getting a book online, that might be an earlier edition. It might not have all the readings that we're going to do for the course. But that's not the end of the world. If you purchase the 4th edition or the 3rd edition, we can work on that. We can work with that. So just let me know. Let me know if you don't have the 5th edition. Just email me and let me know what you do have, and I can work with you. Okay. The second book, again, it looks very similar, but it's got a different title, The Fundamentals of Ethics, and it's written by Russ Shafer Landau. He's not just the editor, he's the author. And he leads you through, as I was saying, different problems and issues in moral philosophy, kind of tracking many of the themes of the readings in the ethical life. And what's useful about the Fundamentals of Ethics is that it gives you commentary and interpretation of some of the readings from the other book. So that's why we're going to sort of read them together. The Ethical Life contains readings by a lot of different philosophers writing about moral problems. And the Fundamentals of Ethics contains Shafer Landau's interpretation of many of those readings, an interpretation of the history of moral philosophy. Okay, so he kind of gives you the lay of the land and gives you a way of working through some of the fundamental problems in ethics that we'll discuss in detail. Okay, so those are the 2 different books. I hope this isn't too long-winded, but I just want to make sure you know what you're getting. And there will be some other readings, but not that many. I will make those available as PDF files online. Okay, and that's all I wanted to say in this video, just show you the 2 books. Now, again, let me be clear that if you don't have the books yet, it's okay. Don't panic. Just let me know what's going on, and I'll work with you. Some of the readings for the first couple of weeks are available as PDF files, and so I'll show you those on Tuesday in class when I walk through the D2L site. I'll show you where the extra readings are and where you can find them. But you do need to get the books because I don't have PDF files of everything. And so, but certainly if you have the books by the 2nd week, even by the 3rd week, I think you should be okay. But hopefully you'll have the books this week. All right, I'm looking forward to seeing you on Tuesday. And if you have any questions about anything, just reach out to me before then. Okay, bye.